Hey everybody, I'm Steve-O, and I hope you're enjoying this little virtual festival. I'm about to give you a little tour of my tiny house. I hope you guys enjoy it. So this is the interior of the tiny house. It's about 20 feet by 8 feet. And with the sleeping loft, it has a grand total of 218 square feet of living space. So why don't I start at the back and show you all the different things that are in here. This is a stained glass window, a Tudor chapel pane. I had it restored, and the person who helped me restore it said that it was probably from about 1870 or thereabouts. It's quite a beautiful piece of glass, and it's amazing that it's kept its colors and its integrity for so long. This here is a hand-carved mahogany table, carved from a single piece of mahogany, if you can believe that. It's quite a beautiful thing. I refinished it, and I have it on a lever that you can actually crank and move the table up and down, depending on whether you want to use it as a dining table or a coffee table. Then back here, I have a hidden compartment with a 3-foot round piece of tempered glass that if I'm entertaining a lot of people, I can put it here on the table and create a lot more space. As you can see, this back bench here is for storage. Storage is always a concern in a tiny house, and you try and design to put as much of it in as you can. And right there, so we can get a shot of it, are the generator controls. Up here, we have a 12-volt evaporative cooler that takes care of cooling this place in the summer. And it does actually a very good job of it. You'll also notice the wallpaper, which is velvet. It's a real reproduction of a Victorian damask wallpaper, and it turned out really good. Here is my desk. It is a postman's desk from somewhere around the late 1800s. It was given to me by a friend in Halifax, and I built it right into the tiny house. And then there are my books. You can only take a few with you in a space like this, so I just picked the ones that I really loved or use quite often. And here is my wood stove. It's a tiny marine wood stove made for boats, and in the winter I burn these things, which are pressed wood logs. They're made out of mill waste, and they burn very clean, and they're sustainable, and they give off a lot of heat, and I can heat my whole tiny house in the winter with about 2/3 of a forklift pallet of these things, which is about $250, so it becomes quite inexpensive to heat this place. And you can see that it goes up into my sleeping loft. Here is probably what is the most valuable piece of real estate in the tiny house, according to my cats, and that is the couch. There's always severe politics going on about how many and who gets to sleep on the couch. We're going to do the kitchen now. You can see I have a magnetic spice rack and a magnetic knife rack, a 12-volt fume hood with a 12-volt LED lighting. The counters in this kitchen are made from solid mahogany planks that I salvaged from old tables, and then I used a mineral oil and beeswax finish on them to keep them all natural, and they're quite extraordinary. You just can't find mahogany like this in the modern world anymore. These planks date back again somewhere into the 1800s. And here is my stove. It's a fully functional 4-burner gas stove with an oven and a broiler. And next to that is the fridge, and it's a 24-volt DC marine fridge. The top compartment is a freezer, and the bottom compartment is the fridge. There is my dishwasher. It's a little mini dishwasher, and it's actually very, very energy and water efficient. It uses less water, I've sort of experimented with, than actually doing the dishes conventionally in the sink. And often when this tiny house is out there, like it was on the ranch, water becomes a very serious concern, and really have to conserve it. So this helps with that. Then we have my kitchen counters. Let's see, I get this in focus. And my cabinets. And that there is actually the bathroom vanity. One of the ways, woo, there's one of the cats. We have 6 of them. One of the ways that I conserved space in the tiny house was doing away with a lot of conventions that you find in traditional houses. One of them was getting rid of a bathroom with its own sink and its own vanity. There's one sink in the tiny house and one bathroom vanity, and you use that both for cooking and for your daily routine. Here we have a shower made out of an old wine barrel. And behind the shower, you can see the water heater, and I'll show you a nifty little trick. I actually did it so that you could, I put a grill over it so you can actually see the flame with the on-demand water heater. In here, you probably can't see it. Alright, where do we got going here? There we go. No, you can't really see it. In here, although you can't see it, is all the water purification systems, halon fire extinguisher, and an air exchanger. And back here, you can see the sort of electrical brains of the whole tiny house. I've got 250 amp hours worth of storage, and I have this MagnaSign charger inverter, which is microprocess controlled and takes care of everything for me. Over here we have a solar charge controller and a DC step down transformer going from 24 volts to 12 volt, because all the lighting in here is 12 volt DC. And then a few other items. Some more sort of vintage wood. I have a little radiant heater in the winter sometimes when I'm not going to be around. I leave that on to sort of keep the pipes from freezing, but I try to avoid using it as much as I can. And then here is a lovely cabinet piece that I managed to get my hands on. It's also quite vintage and from the Victorian area in England. And that there is my stuffed raven named Stolen. Which the tiny house is named after because the raven was stolen. I stole him when I was quite young from a props department at a job I was working. This is Asher. He's cross-eyed, not that bright, but he is one of our favorite cats. And what else have we got down here that I can show you? Oh yeah, the bathroom. So although we use the vanity and that sink for kitchen, I have a composting toilet and this little commode. And I also have my MBA hanging over the toilet, which is probably the proper place for it. And some old license plates from Nova Scotia. And some storage. And down there you can see the coconut husks that we use as the bulk and medium for the composting toilet. This ladder was quite something to build. It's milled out of a single plank of Brazilian bloodwood, and boy is it ever hard. It ends up chipping blades and dulling them at an unparalleled rate. It was quite a challenge to put this thing together. So at the top of this thing here is my sleeping loft with some storage. There's a door here. That you can get out onto a little deck on top of the tiny house. I have a little portable AC up here. And this is the sleeping loft. If you'll notice above, I have this this TV that folds down, and I have a 12-volt DC sound system in here that provides fantastic sound, and yeah, other little touches. I have these little windows that I built. You can sort of see the lovely stained blue glass that's in them. And I have the little shutters for them so that I can get to sleep at night. And there's a lovely shot of me and my two brothers in Nova Scotia, I think from around 1998. And you'll see back there I have some reading lights on either side of the bed. And there is Sarah's platform stilettos. Always good to have those around. And then back downstairs. There's that cat again. Maybe I'll talk about this chandelier, which is French, vintage 1940s. I tracked it down through this strange reseller in Istanbul. I have no idea how a French chandelier from the 40s made its way to Istanbul, but it was interesting to get its hands on it. And then there's other little things. This is a papal indulgence. I don't know if you know anything about the history of the Vatican, but it's an interesting document. It's a pre-forgiveness of sins. My dad got it because he had a cousin who worked in the Vatican administration. And then I also have these candles, which are filled with liquid paraffin, and they're sort of on the most basic scale when it comes to off-grid. In a worst-case scenario, you can always light these things for light. Okay, let's go take a little tour of the outside. This is the deck. There's an exterior garbage can. There's a little can crusher. There's some basil. And there is the massive store of cat food we need to keep all these cats fed. And I also have a little storage shed. Storage chest. And a barbecue. And I have the barbecue wired to a propane line in the tiny house, so I never have to get tanks for it. And here is the hookup for water. I'm hooked up to the property's water right now, and this thing here is the electrical feed for some self-regulating heat tape to make sure that none of the plumbing freezes in the winter. And this thing here is the cat ladder, which allows the cats to go up and into the porthole in the bedroom. And then here we have our little living area. That's my shipping container workshop. And that is my recording studio, also built in a shipping container. There is the exterior. I'm not done the exterior yet. It was such an ordeal getting this thing finished that I was kind of burned out after doing the interior. And I have all the materials to do the exterior, and I'll probably get it done this summer. And up there you can see the loft and the porthole that the cats come in and out of. And we'll go around the front a bit. And on the front here we have 120 pounds worth of propane, and under that black hood is a propane generator. And then over here we have the solar array, 750 watts worth. So the power in this thing can be either shore power from a hookup, the generator, or the solar. And like I said, it's all automatically taken care of with that Magna power converter. It's quite a special thing. And here, I'll just stick my head in the recording studio so you can see that. Oh, and there's another cat. Hi, Rocky. How you doing? Yeah, I know. Rocky's the studio cat. This studio was built inside of... Whoa, why is it not focusing? Yes, this studio was built inside of an extra wide shipping container. I've built a lot of crazy things with shipping containers. So I think that's about it for the grand tour. Drop me an email if you have any questions or you want to know any more specifics about it. Cool. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you guys have a great day.